What's up, everybody? I'm Brian. That's Steve. This is the Suffering Swords Podcast, episode 5.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're really getting up there in age. We're getting old. It's February 14th.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Same to you, man.
4-3 overtime win yesterday.
Yeah.
Against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get into that, I got something I really got to say.
Okay.
I'm really mad. If you've watched or heard this podcast before, chances are you've probably heard our Mr. Peanut tribute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What is that bullshit?
It's
They
a
killed
marketing
him.
stunt.
It's a marketing stunt. You know what's not good marketing? Playing with people's emotions. You know the hardship that people went through when they saw Mr. Peanut?
I couldn't sleep.
I couldn't either. Dude, I still haven't. I couldn't sleep, and then I finally started getting over it, and then he was reborn, and I was just so flustered. Like,
the heroic actions that day.
yeah.
Saving Wesley Snipes.
And that other
guy.
Dude, the worst part is they lost, like, the Peanut Mobile or whatever, too. So, like, are they going to replace that?
I mean, listen, a human life, a peanut life died that day. I just spit everywhere. A peanut died that day. I don't care about inanimate objects, okay?
Yeah,
Peanuts
that's true. All right, yeah, let's
living,
get...
breathing organisms.
Yeah, that is the important one. Let's get back to the point of, he was lost.
And the contributions that he's made since he was born in the 20s.
Yeah.
The roaring 20s.
Yeah.
He's seen so much shit.
Mm-hmm.
World War II.
The second one. That's the big one.
The Vietnam War.
Yeah. Korea before that.
He was born in the Great Depression.
Yeah. What else? The Cold War. He's seen a lot of war. Okay, maybe he's been responsible for some of it.
You know what?
Come to think of
Fuck him. I'm glad he's
fuck
dead.
Mr. Peanut. All right.
Kill
now.
the baby. Kool-Aid Man, who was in cahoots clearly with his
the
tears.
Kool-Aid Man.
He's definitely got to get a DNA test to see if he was responsible for that child.
Part nut.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Getting back to the real topic.
Okay.
The
Oh my god.
All right, beep that out.
Okay.
Speaking of the Columbus Blue Jackets game and the 4-3 win, first game back with good old Vicky O.
And Kyle Okposo. Oh.
Yeah, can't forget that. They actually had a good line last night. The log line, when it's going well, it's really going well.
Mm-hmm.
They get good zone time. They're not just a defensive line anymore.
I mean, they still just ring it around the boards.
Well, yeah, but that tuckers the other guys out, you know?
And there's like back and forth.
Yeah,
and then,
it's good for possession numbers.
And
you
then
know?
we get like a shot on.
Yeah, but Olofsson being back, that was a huge addition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that can be overstated.
No.
I mean, he had 2 goals.
Yep.
The OT winner, nice power play goal, something we've horribly missed.
Yes.
With Jack Eichel, I feel like Olofsson is probably one of the few players that we have right now that can actually keep up with him.
Mm-hmm.
On that overtime goal, I think most players probably would have played that differently just based off of what Jack was doing. I think you see most guys either cut to the opposite post and crash for a rebound because they think they're going to, Jack was going to shoot, or they kind of just post up in front and stop moving, or, like, who knows, maybe someone helps him out in the corner. But he was right where he needed to be, and Eichel with the perfect no-look pass, which was crazy. He didn't even turn his head. He just, like, flung it back and right on the tape. Like, that's a special play.
Well,
right
Olofsson's just a smart player, too.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he just knows where to be.
Yep.
And I think that's underrated for him. Like, defensively, he seems to be, one of our better forwards for sure. And I don't know, just getting into that spot for that OT winner. I mean, even his shot, like, who knows if half the forwards on this team would have finished that, even though it was a pretty open chance. So, I mean, yeah, just important for him to be there. It was also nice to see Skinner get a point. He looked super happy. I was really happy to see that. Just him and Rodriguez get that big hug out of the way. He made a nice play on it, deked to the right a bit and gave Rodriguez some open space, and then
he crashed hard to the net on that play too.
Yeah, exactly. So they couldn't just let him alone. But Skinner got some overtime chance.
Breakaway. He got caught up.
Oh yeah, that was towards the end.
I mean, he stopped skating. I assume he just didn't know how close the guy was. I mean,
he's probably tired too.
Yeah, but even still, I think Jeff Skinner can probably outspeed just about every defenseman.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for the Blue Jackets. They don't have any big names, There's no Erik Karlsson out there skating laps on people. It would have been nice, obviously, to see Skinner get a goal, but he looked good. He was all over the place. I don't even necessarily need him scoring like 40 goals, but like when he's just a water bug out there, just going crazy, moving his feet and just being a nuisance, like that's the role I want him in. And I mean, obviously the finishing is there because I would assume obviously he's had a really, really rough stretch. But I think you can safely assume that for the next several years, you can probably get close to 30 out of him. And you can pretty much take that to the bank. I mean, unless he makes a huge step backward in his game somehow, I think that you can pretty much guarantee yourself 30 goals a year.
I mean, he needs the ice time.
Yeah,
and he needs someone that can create with him, obviously. I mean, who knows what'll happen next season. Maybe, he plays with Dylan Cousins. I really don't know. But, last season when he hit 40, obviously playing with Jack on the first power play unit, and it was buzzing. And he went on cold streaks, too. I mean, Skinner, that's the one big knock against him, other than his contract right now, is that he's streaky. Last season when it happened, he was getting the chances. He was getting robbed, a little unlucky here and there, posts, whatever. And you can see that recently, his last few games, he's been definitely more involved. But yeah, he's always going to be, he's a great skater, great at forechecking. He's an agitator, which is, we don't really have too many of them for sure.
We don't really have any. I mean,
we have Risto, who just
Risto is just I guess you could say that. I don't even know if he's really an agitator, though. He usually just is the target of other people's agitation, and he gets people angry because he's so big and, they can't really do anything. Yeah. I mean, he throws his weight around, and, he's in front of the net chopping sometimes, but, I don't really see him, Skinner likes to skate by and, whack an ankle once in a while, I don't ever see Risto do anything like that.
True.
Not
True.
really ratty. I mean,
Yeah.
Lazar seems to throw his weight around quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, Gergensons finishes checks, but I don't really see him as that type of player. I haven't really noticed Montour.
Montour gets just bullied. Kadri called him a shitty defenseman on a shitty team, which is fair enough.
Nazem Kadri. He has beef with two of our players now because Risto and him hate each other. And now Montour, I guess.
What'd you think about the response by McCabe when a player hit Hutton?
Well, first of all, it should not have been a penalty on the player that ran into Hutton.
Yeah.
Hutton was on the edge of the paint.
And he got forced into
him. Yeah, I think was it Risto?
I think so, because it's Risto. I think Risto and McCabe are out there.
Okay, that's a good pair. I like seeing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kind of got just, I don't know where else you're supposed to go. You either smash into the goalie, or you smash into Risto, or you try to sneak by, and that's what he did. And Hutton was there. I don't think he got destroyed. It wasn't like Lucic and Miller where the helmet came off and everything like that. But yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do if you're the forward in that case. And I guess McCabe, I like seeing something because it's better than what we usually get, which is just no action like that whatsoever. But I don't know. We watched the game together yesterday, and I all I had to say about that was if you're gonna do that to someone at that point, just take your gloves off and start beating them up.
Well, plus you can do it without getting a penalty. You can act like you care without cross-checking someone in the rib cage several times and trying to break their spinal cord.
I think he took the middle ground, and that's still a penalty. So I would have rather seen him just go all out and just drop the gloves because he already, he got.
Well, the guy was defenseless.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he got 4, and it ended up being 2 extra, right? because I think the other guy only got 2. Or
Yeah, and then
something.
Okposo got the other penalty on that play.
Oh, is that how it worked?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was like the extra.
Okay, either way, it netted a penalty for
Yeah.
us.
I mean, as opposed to what this team usually does in that department, I liked it, but I don't think it was, fine, I guess. I like seeing guys stand up for people with their hands, not with just sticks.
Well, yeah, that's dangerous. I mean, the guy just like literally skidded to McCabe, and then he's like, just like tried to snap him in half. Like we've seen that with Victor Arvidsson. He got injured seriously when that happened to him like a few months ago. Earlier
Was
in the
he
season.
was he the play where the guy pressed down and his
and just
his
like
legs were under him and just got like sprung?
Yeah.
And it like destroyed his leg.
Yeah, and then he was out for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't
That's
remember which
dangerous.
one that was. Yeah. That brings up a whole other point of like player safety and like the policing of fighting. People do get hurt fighting, but realistically, how many fights can you think of where it was just raw emotion that led to a fight that led to like a serious injury where a guy missed a lot of time?
Well,
There's a rare case.
I don't think that's the argument. I think it's the concussions and just head damage.
I think the
brain
concussions
trauma.
and brain trauma, they don't come from fighting. And when they do come from fighting, they come from like the players that go out.
They don't come from fighting?
Listen to me.
Look at Rob Ray. He
Listen
can't
to me.
pronounce anything.
This is where I'm going with this, though.
Okay.
Rob Ray was the player that would go out, set up a fight with someone, say in the second period, second whistle, we're both going to go out and we're going to fight because that's what we do. The fighting that I like seeing are emotion fights where something happens and two guys like Kashian and Kachuk. Those are fun fights because they hate each other.
Yeah.
And those aren't like preset. Like if you listen to Andrew Peters or something, like he used to have horrible anxiety before games because he knew he had to fight someone. I don't need someone to go into a game knowing they're going to get in a fight with this specific person, but I want the league to be in a happy medium where preset fights don't happen, but spontaneous fights do. And I think the majority of brain trauma comes from repeatedly fighting when you're a guy that goes out and looks for a fight every game because that's your role, which that role doesn't exist anymore, which is good.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from spontaneous fights. Like, I can only think of a handful of fights that I've ever seen where a guy gets, like, knocked out cold. And that was...
George Peros did. I remember that one.
Yeah,
right?
there was Matt Cook and Evander Kane, which Kane just crossed him up and just destroyed him. And he was out cold. Domi and Kessler, I think, was another one.
Okay.
And there's one other that I'm trying to think of. I can't think of it right now, but like, I think he gets a really bad rap because of, like, you see what happened with like Derek Bugard and like,
Yeah.
it directly led to his death because of the pain that he was in and like the over medication to himself because he was in pain, and like that obviously should not be any part of the game, but that doesn't come from spontaneous like fights once in a while. That comes from every single game you're just out there for that reason. And I think the majority of headshots are the sole reason for concussions. Like with Dahlin when Cernak hit him. Yeah. Like that's, take that play and when guys, who was it? I think it was in the Avs-Leafs game where a guy got like suplexed onto his fucking head.
And
Do you remember that game?
Recently?
It was this season. It was, it was the beginning of the year, but like a guy got suplexed. Like I would rather see, I'm pretty sure 10 fights would lead to less bodily damage than like 2 of those. Because if you land wrong on that, you have like 300 pounds of force coming down onto your fucking head, onto ice.
Yeah.
Like that's not good. And that's much worse than getting punched in the face, man. And if your lights go out when you're fighting, as long as you don't just crack your head open on the ice, like you wake up. Yeah, I would much rather get knocked out in a fight than knocked out with a shoulder in a high-speed collision. Yeah, the big thing, like I said, the big thing with that would be just getting the preset fights out of the game, which they have for the most part. But I don't want a league that doesn't have like raw physical emotion in it anymore, which it seems There obviously still is, but it's really gone far away from that. I don't even know how we got on this topic.
Well, we were just talking about the team, and I said the
Oh
Carter
yeah,
Hutton
that's right.
reaction
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, getting back to that then. Shouldn't have been a penalty. I'm glad someone reacted to it. I mean, obviously in real time you don't even know what happened. If I was on the ice, I would have done the same thing.
The McCabe part should have been a penalty.
Oh yeah,
just
for sure.
not the
McCabe should have been a penalty. Okposo, I don't even know
what he did.
I think he dropped the gloves because I remember seeing him and being like, "This isn't good."
Yeah,
yeah,
you're the guy that should not ever drop the gloves.
Yeah.
Like one punch to your, like a nick of the back of your head could end your career. So let's not do that.
Yeah, you don't like to see that, and everything that I just said goes for healthy players. If you have concussion history, don't fight.
Yeah.
Like, that should just be without saying. Like, don't put yourself in any harm's way like that. It's just not necessary. What else is there? How'd you feel about Johansson on the wing?
Well, yeah, that was one of his best games of the year.
Yeah, that was 2 games ago, though.
Yeah, I know. Last game he was hurt. A few games before that he was sick or whatever. So he finally got back, and we finally gave up on him at center.
Well, yeah.
And all of a sudden we see his true potential, probably.
Well, yeah, that's what he looks like up until he gets to Buffalo. You know, the previous teams that he was on, they were all trying him on center too, and they moved him back to the wing because he's better on the wing, and he's dynamic on the wing. He's a playmaker, and he's speedy for a winger. You know, there's a difference between speed for a center and speed for a winger. You don't have to be in as many places as a winger. As a center, you're kind of all over the place, and you're like, you know, the leader of the line in terms of how fast of a pace you're going to play. And I think he's a great complement. He just can't drive at center. Yeah. So I think they need to keep him there for sure.
And it sucks. You know, he had a really nice goal, obviously, and then just another small injury. Hopefully he'll be back soon. I mean, we got Okposo and Olsen back. With him back, you know, it should be a lot better product on the ice.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they keep him there. I mean, I think we rolled Lazar, Rodriguez, Larson, and Eichel on the centers, right? I mean...
Yeah, I like that.
That's fine, I guess. I mean, it's not ideal, but Rodriguez, speaking of him, he was another one that looked really good, right?
Yeah, he looked great. He's looked good. I mean, it obviously took him forever to get going, but he's back into, I think, last year's form, where I notice him every game, and he's around the puck a lot, and he's setting things up. I mean, let's be honest, he's probably not a very good passer. I think if that's one thing, he doesn't set guys up very well at all.
He like forces the puck too much, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it.
Yep, but, you know, you saw it in his goal yesterday. Give him space and he'll create for himself. I mean, and I don't have a problem with that.
No.
I mean, we've had a third line that's been non-existent all year. If we can get anything out of the third line, even if it's just him, good. By all means, just keep him out there and tell him to do that. Because I'd rather have a selfish Rodriguez goal than no goal. And, you know, we've brought this up on the podcast before. I really hope they find a way to smooth out whatever bumps they had with him and hang on to him.
He is an RFA, so he can't just leave.
Right.
Unless we just decide not to sign him. Of course, he would be due for a raise. I don't know if he's arbitration eligible. Yeah, he probably is, right? Or is that
I don't know. I really don't
Either
know.
way, I'm assuming he would want at least $2 million plus, right? So, you know, you got to take that into consideration. Obviously, a lot is coming off the books, and I'm sure Bottrell isn't going to go out and make like those huge free agent signings of guys that are near 30 usually.
I hope not.
Yeah, so
that's not how to build a team.
You got to, if you look at the Oilers, team like that, they signed more like depth guys and just were hoping they would work out, and they've gotten some good value contracts, and that's what Bottrell's going to have to do to fill those gaps, I think. But going back to Rodriguez, I mean, we don't have to trade him. I mean, now that he's playing consistently, I feel like he probably wouldn't care if he stayed. I don't think he's had an issue with the city, the team. The only issue he had was the fact that he just wasn't playing. And what do you know? Colin Miller and him both start playing regularly, and
They're both good.
They're both good.
Miller's looking great.
They're pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to say Rodriguez is good yet.
Mm-hmm.
Miller's looked a lot better. Huge hustle last game, too, by the way, to get back.
He takes the shortest little, 5-year-old strides.
But he
he
digs
got
in.
Up ice.
Yeah, he
really
digs
got
in.
in there, yeah.
So
he's if you want to see, two polar opposite skaters, put Colin Miller and Jack Eichel next to each other.
Yeah. You got the long, lanky...
Yeah, it'll be like a greyhound and a wiener dog racing, but they're both similar speed.
That surprised the shit out of me because I've never seen him really turn it
on.
He
flew back, yeah.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
He wants to play.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I think he probably broke a record for most strides from blue line to blue line, too. Yeah, when he plays, he's valuable. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Consistent play helps you do better.
I wonder why, I don't like sitting every 4 games and playing the 5th one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I still have a problem with Kruger's player management, but Bogosian waved today. Thank God.
It's a miracle.
It is a miracle. When I saw it, I was like,
yeah, you have to is this the real account?
Yeah, I had to make sure I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah, but I mean, just the fans, you could tell they loved it because that post had more likes than the last 15 combined on their Twitter. So even the win, even the sick goal by Olofsson, the OT win it. That was 1,000 and Bogosian was already at 2,000 15 minutes into it. So
this is our first post that hasn't got ratio in a month. It's a miracle.
And I the only post that had all positive reinforcement basically.
Yep.
It was just mostly just everyone celebrating. There's a few people Bogosian's a good guy. Wish him luck. But the most people were
more time to fish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I won't even give them credit for that because what the hell took so long?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they just tried to trade him and they couldn't get anything done.
I mean, I could have saved you the time on that. I think most people could have. You're not going to get anything for him.
You save the way it works. He's going to get waived. No one's going to claim him. Yeah. I'm assuming he's going to report to Rochester, but he wants to keep playing, so I doubt he would just.
Isn't he from Rochester area?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, he is from New York, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's from right around Rochester. So he'd be playing for his hometown AHL club.
His family can load up the seats, yeah. And hopefully he gets he'll get some free tickets. So
he's all right, I got to bring all my casts so I get extra tickets.
All his doctors and shit, yeah. But he's finally waived. The Sabres will save I think it's 1.2 something million in cap. That's the way it works like that. It's not you cut half their contract, you don't lose the whole thing. You gain 1.2 million. So we do have a little more wiggle room. We're still obviously paying the whole contract, but
right. Well, it's not our concern. It's not on the cap.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a little less on the cap. Mm-hmm. With a corresponding move, we sent down Pilot.
Yeah, well, that might just be for a game again.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, does Rochester maybe play tonight or tomorrow? I'm not sure.
Well, that's where that $1.2 million that we're saving is going to go, to Pilot's gas money for driving from Roch to Buffalo every other week, it seems.
Hopefully they call him an Uber or something, but...
Yeah, maybe.
Do you think he has his license? Maybe he doesn't drive. He probably has to get he takes the bus or something. Just
he lives in the arena.
Yeah.
In the rafters.
Yeah. But, he might be back up. Obviously, with Colin Miller playing the way he is right now, and Pilot's been getting scratched, so it's good to get him a game. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah.
I'm not totally against 7 D-men playing if that group of 7 is playing. I would prefer the way it working was the defense kind of rotating more than the forwards, because the way it seems to work is forwards are just kind of rotating instead of just having one guy or 2 guys double shift on that line. It's all moving around, and I don't like that inconsistency. I'd rather, I don't know, even see a D-man shifting it forward. We've seen Florida do it. So
would you rather have the inconsistency at forward or the inconsistency of D pairs?
Yeah, I know it's weird like that, right?
I mean, I would rather not have either. I'd rather play a normal modern team. instead of a 1977 extra defenseman model. When guys don't. Yeah, we didn't have enough roster players to play forward.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd rather have it be like a normal everyday team, but I'm fine with it the way it is now. For now, I still don't want McCabe on this team at all, but
he could be gone I mean, we don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen. Like there is probably like obviously Darlene, there's no way, but like anyone else on that D squad, obviously Yokoharu, Pilot, it would have to be like a blockbuster, and
there's no way Yokoharu gets.
Yeah, I know it'd be riots, but like Ristolainen and Montour, both those guys, like you better get a pretty big return, I would say.
Well, apparently Tampa Bay had people in the building yesterday.
Yeah.
That were like predominant.
Yeah, like
Tampa
the lead scout, I think, and like lead player.
And that's been rumored for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Risto to the Lightning. I mean, I don't know who we'd get back, but
Anthony Cirelli. Right.
That'd
That'd be so amazing, but
there's no way.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay isn't stupid. That's why they're in the position they are, because they make smarter moves than that.
Yeah.
I wonder, speaking of Bogosian, is anyone dumb enough to pick up that salary, do you think?
Is there even many teams that could right now?
I really don't know.
Like, I mean, Detroit probably could.
Mm-hmm. I saw Toronto was interested in picking him up.
Yeah, someone tweeted that, but I mean, that's so weird. I mean, we'd obviously have to retain the maximum 50%.
Right.
So there's still, on the hook for $2-something million.
That's how you know a player's bad, when you literally can't even just get him taken and you retain half of his salary.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna tank our team if he plays. I don't even care about his cap. Like, he can't play.
He's looked awful this year. We discussed it on one of the, I'm pretty sure on like the first episode or something, but
I mean, he's come up every episode because that's how bad he's been. Every time he plays, we're like, what the fuck is going on?
Do you think he's going to report to Rochester? Because veterans is often, they've said no.
I really don't know. That's...
Alsner didn't for Montreal, right? At least for a while.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't hate him as a person, obviously. I don't know him. I've never met him.
Eichel's said nothing but good things about him. Right. He's their card boy, apparently.
Right.
He's a part of the little group of card players.
Yeah, when you see, we went to the Skills Challenge last year.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Bogosian had his kid there.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, anyway. And, he seems like a just cool dude in general. I don't wish any ill will toward him, but I'm just glad he's not playing anymore. And if he doesn't report, I won't hold that against him.
Yeah.
If he does, cool, try to help the team down there, but just you're done here, and it should be obvious.
The other issue is you send him down, and we're still Rochester's 20 D-men down there, dude.
That's true.
It's getting insane. You have Redmond.
Coast League. Bogosian to the Cincinnati Cyclones.
It's actually insane. Guys that I didn't think would be scratched have been scratched down there, too. So it's they have too many D-men. We have too many D-men.
We have neither team has any forwards.
Yeah. So we're, hopefully going to be able to swap a couple for some forward help. I mean, got 10 days. I'm looking forward to the podcast before for that because I love the trade deadline. I always did. I remember in school constantly refreshing hockeybuzz.com.
Dude, for
the
last 2 years when I worked at my previous job, I would take the day off for the trade deadline and sit and listen to trade talks.
I work at a computer, luckily, so I'm just gonna be
that's true.
Refreshing.
I worked at a fruit. Well, so do you, but a different kind of fruit.
Yeah.
No, but I hope if he's not active, that's the nail in the coffin for sure. If we don't trade several guys, then it's
we saw it with Tim Murray. Mm-hmm. He didn't do anything his last trade deadline.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's hopefully a warning sign to him to do something. I mean, we're still under the same ownership that fired Murray, so do something. You have a bunch of expiring contracts.
This should be the busiest offseason in years because the team needs changes and we have the ability to get rid of.
Yeah, we're gonna have
guys.
money. We
Yeah.
have some assets that we can trade. Like that makes sense. A lot of teams need a D-man right now, and I don't want to get too much into it right now because that's more for the trade deadline episode. But yeah, he needs to do something. But we'll see what happens.
Yep. Hopefully something. I
Mm-hmm.
can't deal with sitting around waiting and nothing happening.
Yeah.
That would be crushing
And that's
because
what
you're going to lose the guys anyway, so you have no reason not to.
Yeah, might as well just get some picks. Hopefully, hit on a couple in the draft. I mean, he's seemed to be pretty good. I mean, I know you talked before about none of his like draft picks being up yet, and he's very patient with them. But I mean, some have looked kind of promising, like the later guys, Laskinen, Portillo, or is that Porcillo, whatever the goalie,
Well,
Eric.
Portillo's a second round pick.
Oh, is he? I thought he was third. He was third.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of the forwards that he's gotten later, we'll see. We have to, obviously, judge that later.
Well, my
but
problem with that
alright.
is like, okay, cool, you're good at late round drafting. You're gonna be fired before any of them make an impact at all. So like, I want you good at early round drafting, finding players.
Well, Cousins looks good, so I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see.
We haven't heard anything from Middlestat in Rochester.
Well, it's
Like,
just like
I
more.
mean, he's playing well, but like
Yeah.
no one is even like considering it at this point. I
What,
don't-
calling him up?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think they just want to do what they did with Tage Thompson last year, get him some confidence, let him, get stronger, whatever he has to
And
do.
then let him earn his spot in training camp and not call him up because we
Yeah.
have Vlad Saboka.
And then call him up like later in the season, and then he'll get hurt 2 seconds into his
Right,
shift.
he'll snap his shoulder. in
Yeah.
half. Yeah. Hopefully that happens. That's always the best way of prospect building. You really got to build his shoulder muscles.
And then they just can't play for 6 months and
Yeah.
wither away.
Yep. That's the Buffalo Sabres. Everything withers away.
Hopes and dreams.
I wanted to talk about. This is a big topic that I've been thinking about lately.
Okay.
The use of Jeff Skinner
Yeah.
on Eichel's wing last year, driving up his value to top dollar, and then taking him off of that, and then having Sam Reinhart on Eichel's wing all year, driving up top value, and then we don't know what he is away from Eichel. That's a
Yeah.
big problem to me.
You jack up his points.
Unless they are seriously considering moving Reinhardt, I think it's absolutely absurd that they are playing him with Eichel every single game and they are refusing to move him away. It is backward to me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. With Skinner last year, 40 goals. Top minutes with your top center.
Top power play.
Top power play.
So everything that you could do to like get his points jacked up.
Everything led to more points, and every point led to more money.
Yeah.
And you're paying him $9 million coming off of a career year. You separate him from the guy that directly led to his career year. He's struggling now, and you're mightily overpaying for his production right now.
Yeah.
And you're doing the exact same thing with Sam Reinhart. Because I want to see Sam Reinhart away from Jack.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what we have in him for the future. If he's terrible, when you're negotiating a contract, you can bring that up and try to drive his value down. Because, your GM should want the most team-friendly contract they can get.
Well, they already missed that boat when they gave him a bridge deal, which was a terrible mistake.
Yep.
Obviously, just awful because, first of all, we could have afforded to, before like we made some like crappy cap dump trades, to pay him the extra few million. I mean, we're looking at like maybe a $6 million for like whatever long term, hopefully, for him. Now we're looking at 7 something, 7.5. I mean, I don't even
do we know anything more about him?
no,
Realistically, we don't, because
we keep play
it's-
with the top 5 player in the league.
it's a carbon copy of Skinner last year. Skinner with Eichel. Drive the points up, drive the contract price up, and then we move him. And now we see what Skinner does away from Eichel. Not that he's this bad, but obviously he's not a line driver on his own.
Yeah.
I want to see Reinhart, before we give him a contract, see what he can actually do on his own line, away from Eichel. It's completely backward. You should give him a cheap contract, or you should give him lower minutes away from Eichel, sign him to a lower deal, and then put him with Eichel and then get max production for the least amount of money. That's common sense. That's simple. That's economics. You need to, buy low and get high results. You don't buy high and then dump them off of a line. That seems ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, if we were in a different spot right now in the playoffs, I wouldn't want them separated.
Well, now is the time to do it because the team is in shambles. I mean, let's be honest, we're not making the playoffs.
No.
It's just, I don't know. That's so, for a guy who's supposed to be a cap guru, he's not doing anything that makes any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, his biggest mistake was the bridge part. I mean, we knew Reinhart, like, you can tell he's a great player, right? I mean, the fact that you're just giving him a shitty bridge contract, people at that time, I mean, it's just like, obviously, the general opinion has been wrong many times, but the general opinion in that situation was give him, like, a long-term deal, and we did not.
That does not, I cannot have someone even, that fan input should not matter in the slightest.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it was obvious.
Yeah,
it was
and
pretty obvious.
That's what I have problems with him, is that he misses out on the obvious things, and, like, he tries to hit on these, like, absurd risks, I guess, and, like, nothing adds up to me, because, like, in the draft, he's a, high floor, low ceiling, like, get the sure thing, and then we make trades for guys who've been in the league, and then we play guys that he thinks can be better over them. And then we sign free agents who we're just taking a chance on, and then we're expecting, like, Jimmy Vesey and Connor Sherry to be what they haven't been able to be. And, like, that's what he's betting on. Like, if you're going to be a guy that, like, gets sure things, do that everywhere. Like, I understand taking a risk once in a while, but, like, all of the eggs that he's putting in the baskets of, like, VC and Sherry and, like, those players of the world, those are guys you should try to get that are sure things. Like, I want sure thing vets and then, like, chances on young guys. They're taking chances on vets and then getting sure thing young guys. It's backward. And that's what I don't like about it.
Yeah. I mean, Frolik's another example. Like,
Frolik's been awful. Let's be honest. I mean, I didn't expect anything from him, but I expected something.
I mean, you not only do you take him from a team that was, like, begging to get rid of him. Like, that was like us getting a fourth for Bogosian for nothing. Like, they didn't have to retain any of it. Like, we cleared up cap space. I was, like, happy. I was like, oh, Scandella gone, whatever, but now we can do, like, a bigger move. But apparently none of that was, planned out, because he just immediately took back even more cap, 4.5 or some shit.
That's terrible.
And, yeah, Frolik so far has been a very bad trade. I mean, he's still getting, like, second line. Well, I mean, probably, like, second or third line, whatever, but still.
Did we retain anything for Scandella?
No.
Okay.
Which is fine, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would rather have retained $1 million on Scandella and kept my cap open and not traded for Frolik than, I mean, obviously, hindsight, but, like, I wasn't expecting anything from him anyway. I'd rather have the roster spot in the cap than have him.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't even know how you get that player without having them retain, because they were begging to get rid of him, like you said. Like, he wasn't even playing. And he was obviously asking for a trade, and he had outstayed his welcome for whatever reason. I don't keep up with Calgary Flames games or what's going on in the hockey world there. But, you should be able to, if you're making that deal, have Calgary retain or get something with him for that. Like, get a sixth or something.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it doesn't matter, but, like, you can't just 1-for-1 him with, like, an average defenseman and an average forward. I mean, I understand the flip, but, like...
And why did we have to trade a fourth?
Right.
Like, it should have been a sixth or a seventh or whatever. Sure. Like, I don't understand it. It's pretty mind-blowing, and it's, I mean, it's not like it was a high-risk thing. It was just low-risk. I mean, not even high reward, like medium reward potential.
Well, I think about everything they could have done with that. What was Scandella's cap hit? $4 million.
Yeah.
Get Pominville back.
I mean, they could do that right now with waiving Bogosian, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and going back to what we said about Pilot, we have to assume he'd be back because we only have 6 D-men on the team, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's definitely going to be back, actually, now
That
thinking
sounds
about
really sad to say. We only have the optimum amount of
Well, you want at least one to
I
be scratched, right? But
Well,
ideally not a
the scratch should be McCabe.
Yeah, not a 23-year-old, like, proven, like, pretty good D-man. But anyways, back to the matter at hand. Yeah, I mean, you could have just used that money. Pominville, like we discussed it before. Pominville on the first line with Eichel and Olofsson or something again. Reinhardt and Skinner with Johansson or something on the wing.
Who are you putting? Reinhardt at center?
Actually, never mind. Yeah,
I wouldn't want him at center.
No. I was thinking Johansson on center. Kind of, but whatever. Either way. You could have slotted Pominville with the chemistry as with Eichel in the top 6.
But. Well, my thing is he's like, up until last year, he could score goals. And he could still score last year. And he has goal-scoring potential still. I don't think he's... How old is he? Do you know?
He's like 36, probably.
The wall of goal-scoring doesn't come up between age 35 and 36. True. He would have hit the wall already.
He's a smart hockey player.
Yeah.
He knows where to go.
Right.
He's not snipping it bar down, but he just knows where to be.
Right.
And he had good chemistry with Eichel, and he made it clear that he wanted to, like, he feels like he can still play. At 2000s night, he was there. Fans were saying, like, we want you back, and... You know, he's willing to still help the team. I'm pretty sure if Bottrell went to him, he would sign. So it's just crazy that he wouldn't.
Pominville said that he was getting offers, but he didn't want to, like, move his family or, like, leave his family. They're here. This is where you live. Sign the man. I don't understand what is hard about this. And even, like, if you don't want Pominville, I know you don't feel as strongly about this as I do, but bring back Thomas Vanek. Every year he's been in the league, he's put up points, and he's scored goals, and he's a natural goal scorer. He hasn't lost that. He's obviously lost a step, and he's not what he was at all, not even close. But every single year he puts up goals, and if he wants 1.5, give him 1.5. Because I guarantee his 1.5 goes a lot further than Frolik's $4 million.
He was jumping from team to team and still putting up points.
Yeah, everywhere he went, every single year. Any team, he would put up points. And, like, those are the risks that you take instead of trading the 4th that you just got for a guy that you know, realistically, what was he going to do?
Who?
Frolik. Yeah.
They
2
wanted
goals
to buff
while
the
he was
penalty.
here
They wanted
and
to buff
penalty
the penalty
kill.
kill.
Cool. Congrats. We need to score goals.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
Yeah. And I just want a GM that thinks of that. Like, I feel like he was so narrow-minded. Like, he had his, like, mind set on, like, I'm going to get Scandella out of here and I'm going to flip it for something. Like, no, just keep your money and go out and sign Pominville. Like, it seems so simple. And even if it doesn't work, you still have a 4th. And you're still saving money. He's not going to ask for $4 million. He would have probably would have taken the vet minimum. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, 2000s night, he was there and people were asking about everything that was going on, and I think he can still help. He thinks he can still help.
Yep.
Usually players know when they've hit that wall. Like, if people are coming up to him and be like, oh, you should come back, and he's like, I don't have it anymore. Like, a lot of guys say that. A lot more than people think. Like, professional athletes know themselves better than anyone, and a lot of guys are like, I just didn't have it anymore. I listened to Danny Briere the other day on the radio, and they asked him about his final year because he was at, like, I think he needed like 20-something games to hit 1,000.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's a huge milestone. Like, why didn't you go for it? And he's like, the role I was playing, like, I wasn't useful anymore. And, like, he's like, that's just what it is. And, like, guys know that. And if someone like Jason Pominville tells me, yeah, I think I can still help, come on in.
Yeah, we need some help. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of 2000s night, what did you think of that whole presentation?
I mean, it was good. They've done a good job with, the presentation part. They gave everyone 50th anniversary jerseys this time around.
They were real ones too.
Yeah,
Adidas.
I know.
Yeah.
We double checked it wasn't fucking Fanatics or something. But yeah, I mean, the spelling checked out.
That's all you can hope for.
Yeah, they were authentic. So looked good to me. The little video they did was cool.
That really brings back the love that people had for those teams and the love that you had for individual players. Like, people loved a lot of those guys. And, like, you didn't even have to be the best player. You were just, like, in the hearts of fans because you had moments where, like, you saved the day or, like, you were just consistently good or just consistently did your job and, like, people liked your personality. What happened to that? Like, I can list on one hand the amount of players I genuinely root for on this team.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to really look back in like 10 years and be like, oh man, Jimmy Vesey, what a guy.
Yeah, it's like, man, I wish Connor Sherry really worked out. Yeah. No, he's like, I follow him on Twitter. He's not interesting at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, like, with, we both listened to Jack Eichel on Spittin' Chicklets, and he's like, I like listening to him, and I like his personality, and I like rooting for him. Like, I feel for him. Like, I see his emotion on the ice, and I'm like, man, I'm right there with him. Like, he looks like he wants to win.
Yep.
And, like, his relationship with Reinhardt and, like, their, like, public, like, shenanigans that they did.
Yeah.
And, like, those kind of guys are who I want on the team, and, like, I take interest in them. I used to take interest in everybody because they were fun. And now it's just like, get these people away from me. I don't even care, what happens to them. Like, when Briere and Drury left, I was like, man, I really hope Briere, like, goes somewhere that's good for him because I love Danny Briere. And, like, I felt for him when they didn't sign him because he was, like, put on the back burner for Drury. And then they were too late. And, like, I didn't hold that against him. If any of these guys do that, we're going to be like, get the fuck out of here. We don't give a shit about you. Like, there's no love for it anymore. And, like, as there shouldn't be. But, like, looking back on it just makes me think of how far we've fallen in terms of, like, just the emotion and emotional connection and, like, the joy of watching this team now is not there.
And it's crazy because we even have means of seeing them do cool things like the ping pong tournament and stuff like that. And, I mean, we got Gergensons in there, and I somehow learned nothing about him during that whole thing. Like, he's still just a monotone, boring, awkward, cross-eyed dude playing ping pong terribly in flip-flops.
Yeah, the one person that I came away liking more was Jeff Skinner, and I already liked Jeff Skinner because I know a lot about Jeff Skinner now.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure people are going to be like, well, it's because they're good. Like, that's why you like them. It's like, no, I liked Patrick Coletta. He's my favorite player of all time.
You have his jersey.
I have his jersey. Yeah. He's my favorite player. He couldn't score to save his life. He was a good penalty killer, and he was a rat. He would just hurt people all the time. I loved him, though, because he was from Buffalo, and I used to learn things about him that I liked. And, like, I became, like, emotionally attached to him as a player. And, like, I just loved everything about him when he was on the ice.
Yep.
And, like, there's nothing like that anymore with anyone, really. I mean, aside from Eichel and Reinhardt, and, like, I like Olofsson because, like, he seems to be, like, I've heard a lot about him where, like, he's just the kind of, like, come in and be quiet and just do whatever. And, like, even when he scores, like, he's always just, like, the like, hushed one. Like, I saw a picture of him on the bench yesterday where, like, Eichel, like, taps him on the helmet after he scores, and Olofsson's just, like, looking off into the corner, like, silently. And,
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's even that is interesting. But, like, the rest of these guys are just, like, faceless bad players, and, like, I don't know if that's because of marketing and how bad that's gotten, or...
Well, no one enjoys... You see a better side of these people when they're enjoying themselves and they're winning. Like, obviously, that makes it harder, and you can't even really blame the players as a person not being super happy and exciting all the time. I mean, a couple of guys like, I feel like Lazar should be mentioned. Like he had an interview today with Baran. Oh, not today, but they did their little tablet talk presented by Supercuts. And
Don't look at this.
and you want me to blur it out for you?
Yeah, please
Okay.
do. Just put a block on my head.
We'll see. But yeah, so like Lazar, he seems like just super happy to be here. It's kind of been like that since the beginning. He just seems like he really enjoys playing hockey, and there's other guys like that. I don't want to cast a huge shadow on the whole team and you say like other than the top few guys, I hate them all. But I mean, let's just put it this way: like I wouldn't want to do a meet and greet with Jake McCabe.
No, definitely not at all.
And speaking of that, there's a Victor Olofsson signing at Dave and Adams.
When's that?
I think in March or something.
We gotta go.
Yeah, we should.
Stand in line.
I still regret not going to the Enzo Sauce thing when he went to Wegmans. I would have, because that was towards when Housley, like, did he play with Housley, right? Like one season?
No.
Or no? Okay, so it was Bill Bilesma, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was Bilesma, like, he was, like, not really playing him right and put him on the fourth line. I was going to be like, Ennis, you should be playing, man, like...
And he would have been like, haven't heard that one before. Enjoy your sauce. Give me $9.
This is how I get my taxes written off.
Yeah, he's like, I have to pay for my brain contusion.
But, all right, anyways, let's talk about Skinner's contract.
Well, actually, before we talk about that, going back to 2000s night.
Okay.
The actual... not the broadcast, but just like everything that they did in terms of like video and audio and like the goal horn. Every single goal song is better than the one we have now.
That was so good.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even necessarily like that one. It's so much better than what we have now. It's so bad. Please change it. For the love of God, it's so bad.
I agree.
It's so cringy. But yeah, I like that they do that. I'm glad that they spelled everyone's name right. I saw on Twitter that like they should have tried to get Ryan Miller there, or like they should have scheduled it like the game before or something. It's like, what are you talking about? Like you don't plan an event around the backup goalie of the opposing team.
That's 40 years old.
That's 40 years old, yeah. Near the trade deadline. I mean, it's not close to the trade deadline, but like who the hell knows what would have happened? Like anyone, I'm all for Sabres hate. Like I'm first in line for yelling about them. But, like, don't be stupid.
No,
like, there's no way they should have done that.
That's a bad take.
Yeah, it is for sure. There's been a lot of those from pretty, a predominant figure now. They've gone downhill.
I don't want to get into that, but,
you know who you are.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the 2000s night I thought was okay.
What did you think? Did you see the interview today with one of the higher-up Pagula
I wanted to talk
drones?
about that. It was so inconsistent and so bullshitty.
It was
like
weird.
it smelled. It was so bullshitty.
Yeah.
It was terrible. When they asked him about the like fake jerseys, he was like, "Yeah, we they don't make those anymore, and like we had to give them like what we gave them because they don't make them anymore."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what happened there. And they like, "Did you miss a deadline?" He's like, "Yeah, but it was the other people.
Yeah.
They missed the deadline."
Yeah.
They're like, "Didn't you just say that they don't make them?" And he's like, like he had nothing. Like you don't.
Yeah.
It was like back to back basically too, and it's like this is so shitty. Like that's the kind of shit that you look at and you're like, you're so full of shit.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I just want transparency. Just own it. Own it.
It wasn't even Pagula that came out like that. He just had to send one of his little drones to take the shots for him.
Yeah. Did you see the Twitter post today? They got some people biting on the fake hook.
About what?
The WGR 550 fake account.
Oh.
Terry Pagula is gonna come out and don't you have anything? Let's be honest. Don't you have anything better to do with your life than post that?
Well, first of all, I mean, yeah, that's whatever. I mean, it's kind of funny to me. You really just got to check your They have a check mark. They have a blue check mark.
Yeah,
Just
for
look,
a reason.
hover over. Yeah, I literally hovered over the thing for 1 second and said parody account. Like it's not like they were trying to hide it. Like
GWR 440.
like you can say what you want about parody account. Like like the troll ones that are like trying to do like fake. Like there's like fake Darren Dreger accounts that like disguise it 100%.
That's so dorky.
And try to
that's so fucking nerdy to me.
Or just like guys that like are like Jimmy Johnson, TSN, like just some fake guy that no one's ever heard of, but like they just try to fake like they work there and they have insider sources. That's way worse to me than just like someone doing a little troll job there. That was fine to me. I mean, check your sources before you start commenting and retweeting and look like an idiot.
Yeah, I'll second that. I think whoever does that needs to have better hobbies, and whoever doesn't do their research when they announce something that would be so monumental as the owner coming out and speaking for the first time in like 9 years.
Is that even
you should
monumental?
probably check your source.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time in like a decade.
True.
So, yeah. Stop it on both sides. I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, Skinner contract, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good right now at all.
I mean, obviously, when time advances and contracts keep going up, and I know the salary cap has been talked about going up a good amount when the new TV deals hit. Like, it could go up a ton. So it might not be that important at that point. And obviously, you compare it to, like, David Pasternak and shit like that. He's like $6 million. You really cringe.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't want to judge him by a half a season with like injury and just playing with kind of crappy people. You know, we'll talk about it in a few years, but I mean, I still see good play out of him. I'm not panicking yet. I mean, obviously, we knew we overpaid him from the get-go. We knew we needed to retain him. We probably overpaid him by like $1.5 million. Is that going to really matter in the long run? You know, probably not too much, but we knew what we were getting into, and there's still time to recover. That's what I have to say about it.
Well, I wanted to bring it up because I think this says much more about the GM and his money management, too. Because, like we've said before, this is supposed to be his strong suit.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be, the cap wizard or whatever. When you look at the way contracts have been handed out and the way money has been taken in and has been shoved out, this seems like you need to have a GM that is better at negotiating than what led to that Skinner deal. Because there's no way that he was going to live up to $9 million unless he played every game with Jack Eichel and he continued with that production. $9 million right now as a winger, you're putting up 40 every year.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And if you're not, you're overpaid. And I don't see how you can sign that and not only expect him to do that every year, but not think that it was an overpayment at the time. Because, like, I really don't know the ins and outs of it. Like, I'm not going to pretend I do. But I think you need to have the negotiating ability to be like, look, this is what you've done your whole career. This is your total. You're not a 40-goal scorer right now. I mean, you just came off of a 40-goal year, but you were inflated. Like, and that goes to the inflation of his stats and everything. Like, I need a GM who can look at that and say, like, we can give you this, but 9 is too much. And, like, I understand that they probably backed him into a corner because we were so poorly put together and as a forward group. But, like, everything led to the overpayment, and it's really shining through now because of his misuse. And I hate seeing that. And then I also wanted to bring up, in terms of, like I said, the misuse of money. Okposo and O'Reilly were close with their cap hits.
Yeah.
And you moved on from one, and you kept the other. And just in terms of the money that you moved and the money that you kept, for the players that own those contracts, that is just so bad. I mean, I understand that there was a lot swirling around O'Reilly there, and they're two totally different players. But, I don't know if he ever came out or, like, his contract came into play at all. But, like, I really hope that the reason that he made the O'Reilly trade was because, we need to shake up and we need to make a move. I really hope he wasn't like, well, he's not worth this money.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that had nothing to do with it. Because you look at Okposo and the money he's making and O'Reilly and the money he's making, and it's just like, yeah, I definitely don't want to move the one that I moved.
Well, my counterpoints here, and this will be my last that I say about this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think he literally just like looked at Okposo and O'Reilly and just was like, oh, okay, I will trade this one because it's a little more.
I definitely don't think that either. But
no one wanted Okposo at that point.
Right.
So that's what I have to say about that. And the Skinner contract, I mean, they had Boudreau where they wanted him. Like you said, they backed him into a corner. I mean, Skinner...
He backed himself into a corner.
Well, yeah. Skinner probably be like, look at the team you have. Well, not him personally, but his agent. Look at it. Yeah, it's not me. But, yeah, he's like, look at the team you have. You just put up 40 goals. You have no other forwards. Like, if I walk, you're screwed.
Yeah,
and
you're
which
fucked.
is pretty true.
Yeah, for sure.
And, I mean, with all that being said, like I said, later down the line, I don't think $9 million is going to be crippling because I think the cap's going to go up a good chunk, and it's an 8-year deal. So, towards the end, it's going to probably look like a 6 would right now or so. But yeah, there's still time, so I'm not panicked.
Well, I think I actually missed my main point while I was rambling there. My main point of that is that he is considered someone who's good with the cap. And every single major move that he's made, he overpaid Skinner. He moved a lot of money off with O'Reilly and kept a lot of money on with Okposo. Hasn't replaced O'Reilly with anyone of his caliber, but he's paid that and more with his players that he's brought in. And with the Scandella moving out and Frolik moving in, and now, finally waiving Bogosian, but like having that cap disaster even coming into this year, like nothing to me points that he has any plan, any direction, or any clue as to how to run a salary cap team. And I hate when I hear about him being this person that is good at this, because he's not. And that was my main point to it. It just seems like everything he does is like, this is either backward or just flat out dumb.
Well, to be fair, he's operated like at the cap the whole season, so he's found his way to slither around with it. But yeah, it's not really turned into anything
That's
good.
That's not even still though. He's the reason that
I know.
He put himself at the cap.
I know. No, you're 100% right.
Yeah, but I can't hear about Bottrell being anything more than, he's a placeholder to me right now, just until the end of the year where they can find someone.
And do you want to touch on the coaches?
Yeah,
coach
sure.
situation?
Yeah.
We're almost at an hour here, but we could probably touch on it quickly. The Minnesota Wild fired Boudreau.
Bruce
the Moose, whatever.
Bruce Boudreau.
Okay, what did I say? Boose? Whatever.
Caboose Boudreau.
Whatever. Boudreau is...
And Gerard Gallant was fired.
But he was fired a while ago.
Yep.
I think we touched on him. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
If you can get Boose, if you can get the caboose, you bring him in right now. There's obviously, I don't know how coach contracts work, but I'm pretty sure there's a clause in there that, like, if I'm going to be promoted, you can go ahead and do that.
No, it's not even like that anymore. Like, it's not, you have to give him a second-round pick like we did with Bilesmer, third round.
No, I don't mean with Caboose. I mean with Kruger. Like, I don't know how his his contract is worded. I've never even heard anything about that.
I don't think any of the money's guaranteed. I'm pretty sure
Okay,
it's just
well, he can head right on upstairs to
give him a milli extra.
Sure, why not?
Give
I
him
mean,
the-
he's already making like top coaching
I think he
money.
is making like insane money.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, I would move him up. I would get rid of Bots. I would go after. I don't know if I want Ray Shiro. I mean, his track record isn't great, but he seems like a smart person. I think he's kind of hit and miss. But I want someone who takes chances on, if you swing and miss, it's better than not swinging,
Mhm.
And he seems like the only name that I've even heard out there. I mean, I don't keep up to date on GM chatter either.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know any big names, but like, I would take Shiro, and I would take Gallant or Caboose right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I like Kruger, but I think this season has shown me that moving forward, if you can get better, do it.
And people have talked about the fact that he literally has come out and said like he didn't really want to coach. He wanted like an upper management position.
Right.
So here's your chance. I mean, it looks weird to just like yank him out of the coaching spot again.
Yeah, but you're not like it. If you don't know anything about the situation, maybe, but like here, it makes perfect sense of like you just said, like he wants upper management position. We have a desperate fucking need for a president of hockey operations or someone that can talk for this organization.
Yep.
And it would be a good time to, bring in a coach that, I mean, Bruce Boudreau is a big name.
Yeah.
He is a really, really good coach.
He'd obviously have to want to come here.
For sure, which is always an issue, especially with a team that's been in the dumpster for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if it came out, like, years from now that we didn't even pursue that, like, I would be flabbergasted.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would just hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean flabbergasted as in, like, shocked that they didn't, but I wouldn't even be surprised that, I mean, I'd be shocked that they didn't, but I wouldn't be surprised that they didn't either.
Okay.
Because, like, it just seems so stupid that you wouldn't kick the tires on that idea,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems stupid for me to assume that they're not that stupid.
Yeah.
So, like...
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. That was the best way I could have
Yeah.
worded it. But yeah, if you can get him in a second, snatch him up. And then whatever you can do at GM. Kruger seems like he knows his shit. I don't know how much of around hockey knowledge he has, but like he's a personable guy. Like everyone likes him.
Yeah.
He's perfect for that role. And I think the Pagulas have obviously not been very good at hiring their coaches or their GMs.
No.
So put someone else in charge of that. Ideally, they would hire several smart hockey minds, put them around Kruger, have him lead a GM and coach search, and then go from there and really build a new system because it's not working here right now with, there's no one in second command and it's just Jason Bottrell floundering around and a fish out of water in the media, and then Kruger doing all the talking, and he's the, most recent person to come in here, so like he has the least amount of knowledge on the situation.
Yep.
And yeah, Boudreau, go ahead. Gallant, go ahead.
My only concern, and this is the last thing I'll say about this, obviously the players like him, the way Eichel talked about him on the Spit and Chicklets podcast, like he seemed like
they
love him. Yeah. Like
they would die for him.
Yeah. Like he gives these little speeches and like there's like I'll play right now, like even in, like after a morning skate or whatever. He's not like an angry coach, like they actually want to play for him. So, it would suck to lose him in that regard. And also, like I said before, I don't know how much I like the look of having a coach for 40-something games, blah, blah, blah. I normally wouldn't be, I know, I normally wouldn't like that, but for coaches of this caliber, like 2 tier 1 coaches, I'm okay with it. So that's where I'll end that.
Well, a counterpoint to that would be, like we said last episode, if you have something that isn't working halfway through a season, just move on.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take good coaches long to change something, and it doesn't take GMs long to change the trajectory of a season and the trajectory of a franchise, really. And, on that note, I think that's a good way to wrap up. Thanks, everyone, so much for watching or listening, whatever you did. Drop a like, share it with someone you think would like it.
Send it to your mom.
Yeah, send it to your mom on Valentine's Day. She probably didn't get anything from your dad because they've been together too long and you kind of ruined their lives. I mean, I did. I think all kids ruin their parents' lives, especially their love life. Yeah, like you can't rail with a baby in the next room,
True.
Yeah, so send this podcast and some chocolate to your mom. That'd be a good gift.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week sometime.
Yeah, hopefully, it might be trade line edition.
That'd be cool. Maybe we could do a pre and post trade deadline.
Oh, no, 100%.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it'll be a little over a week before we do an episode, but we'll rush it up.
Yeah, I know everyone is eagerly waiting.
Yeah,
episode
I know.
6. This is really taking off. But thanks again for listening or watching. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.